Hi, Internet. How are we doing today? Truly, 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 how are we doing today? I'm really tired, and I've tried to record this video a couple times, but I think this is going to be our one and done. I want to talk to you about jealousy today, and jealousy and envy, to be exact. And when I was trying to do a little bit of research for this video, I realized I should define the two. Jealousy is the concept of you don't want to lose what you already have, and envy is you want what someone else's has. And I thought this was really interesting because, and it was saying that jealousy is more possessive when envy can be more compassionate, but I would disagree. I think when we think of jealousy, we think of the crazy controlling boyfriend, but I think envy is the frenemy. And I think it's hard because I think you could sort of still feel both, and I think you can feel jealous of what someone else's has, and I think envy can still be resentful. And I feel like I'm not really a jealous person. I feel very secure in myself, and I know I choose myself. And I have been doing that more so than I ever have in my life, because your relationship with you is the most important, and I'm very lucky to be 25 and realizing that and trying my hardest to choose myself, as even though I've been raised to always sort of serve others. And maybe that's also helped me not really be jealous. And I think jealousy can come up, but jealousy and envy are parts of ourselves that are feelings that are kind of like graying out how we really feel, or those true emotions, or covering up what we feel we lack or we don't have or we need. And so I've been really struggling with this in my family, and that's been really hard for me, and it's made me very uncomfortable, and I almost don't have empathy for it, because I think when that energy happens, jealousy or envy, for me, I feel like, well, then how am I supposed to help you? And I realize, like, wait, that's not my job. Like, if you want to make me the face of these emotions and feelings, like, that's on you. And that's been really sad for me. And I heard this like quote, and it was saying that once somebody is jealous or envious of you, your relationship goes out the window because it becomes a competition. And I'm not really a competitive person. I know I don't want to say that I always win and that there's no competition, but I also just don't set up my life that way. I don't look at what other people have and shit on myself for it. I don't look at the world that way. Also, I will say that I was raised by like the parent that is like, they're jealous of you, like if you've seen those videos online. And I think even that has made me really refrain from partaking in that energy, because it's always perpetuated this idea and this like assurance in myself that like it's about them. And I think it really is hurtful with my family, because why would you base yourself around your niece's successes and the positive attributes that she holds about herself? Like, why would you take those to your own demise? And, you know, even in this situation, it's made me really realize too that like I've had friendships that I've needed to end because they couldn't emotionally support me. And that's just not fair. And I realized because they were envious, and that's what kept them from being empathic with me. And that's really disappointing. All this energy is super disappointing. And I think I really try to ground myself with empathy, and I really try to ground myself in the other person's shoes, hence why I don't think I am a jealous person. I think, you know, sometimes we can look at the world, and the world's set up for us to compare ourselves to each other. And I also think, too, that's why I don't partake in it, because I'm an aware consumer as much as I can be, as we all should, you know, like that's what the epitome of what social media is the compare and contrast. You know, we're absorbing all this information, we're looking at all these people's lives, you know, also thinking about this, like this disparity and the wealth gap. It's really, 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 really easy to fall into comparison. And, you know, there are times where these things are true and that we do compare and we do fall into kind of this spiral mindset about I have this and this person doesn't, or they have this and I don't. And, you know, that's a whole video in itself. And that's not really what I want to focus on, because I think it's about your choice. It's like you have a choice in the way that you view yourself. You know, and I think also too, like, I'm a fat girl. I've been a fat kid my whole life. I've been told that I'm not worth it. I've been told that I, you know, shouldn't exist. I've been told all these things about myself. And it's like, why am I going to let this person on the internet, or this, you know, mean person, somebody who doesn't have good intentions, tell me about how they feel about myself? And I think too, that's why I'm just not a jealous person, because it's like I'm not going to let somebody else dictate the way I feel about myself. And so I'm not going to look at someone else and compare myself to them, because it's like if I sit here and do that, you're going to be miserable. Because even if you had the perfect body, you're beautiful, and, you know, you want to sit here and compare yourself, like, you just don't know. Like, you don't know how somebody feels about themselves. And just because they might have everything that you define as beautiful or happy, like, you don't know how they feel about themselves, you know? And so I just think that it's really easy to fall into that trap. You're bred for it. And I have empathy for that. But I think in my situation, what's really hard with my family, it's like, this is my family. These are the people that were supposed to authentically view me as myself. And your family is supposed to champion you. And your family is supposed to be happy for you. And to see that, like, these really capitalistic, individualistic, competitive mindsets seep in, and that anybody can really feel that way. I guess maybe there's where I'm wrong, is that, like, I think that, you know, I'm very family oriented and I've been adultified in my life, so I definitely have the caretaker role amongst a lot of my family, and I have for a long time. And to still sort of be jealous, it's just disappointing. And it makes me sad that you can be so giving and you can be so selfless, and that you can do so much for these people, and that they still find a reason to triangulate themselves, and they still find a reason to, like, And granted, the reason why this is happening is because these folks can't face what they're going through. And anybody who is envious can't face, their lack, or somebody who is jealous, again, feels some sort of lack within themselves or inferiority of stability or whatnot. But it's been really hard. And even too with certain friendship breakups, like, I'm very lucky and I live in a family member's apartment, and one of my friends, kind of threw that in my face and was like, oh, why, well, you have an apartment, you don't have anything to worry about. That is not true. Like, that is just not true. And again, it's like this facade of like, oh, well, you think, because I'm taken care of in this way, that everything's okay, because you don't have that. And if you had that, you'd think you'd be okay. But there are a lot of things that come with that. And I think, again, like, this compare and contrast is just so unfortunate. And I think it blurs a lot of lines. And I don't know, like, maybe being a fat girl just saved me from ever comparing myself to somebody, because I'm like, well, I can't do that, But on a serious note, I think, again, like, we do live in a world where, there are people that are struggling. There are people who, really have tumultuous life and responsibility, and aren't given the tools and the resources to find success. Like, that is very true. But I think what I'm talking about today is just this more social emotional part of it, of like, when these feelings come up, like, these are inferiority complex within yourself, of like your internal stability and your relationship with yourself. And I just think realizing in life, like, people using that to blind their own relationships with themselves, even if they're 50 years older than you. And so I'm not going to submit myself to that. I don't think you should submit yourself to that either. And if you do feel like you're a jealous or envious person, I think the next time that feeling comes up for you, you should ask yourself, what is this really telling me? Like, those feelings are a compass for something internal, something deep down within inside you. And, I don't want to sit here and say I don't get jealous, because I think we all do, like, but I don't lead my life that way. I don't, like, sit here and look at the people around me and be like, oh, well, what do you have and what do I not have? And I think also it's like, when those feelings come up, it's like, wait, what can I be grateful for right now? What do I have around me to have gratitude in? And I think that's also really important to ground yourself. It's like, counteract these feelings with gratitude. Counteract these feelings like you're here, you exist. Like, look, like, the small victories matter so much. Like, I also have a harm reductive approach in all these videos, because that's my major. But it's like, yeah, it's like, celebrate yourself. Like, when you feel these moments of envy, like, did you wash your dishes today? Like, pull yourself out of it. Like, did you, like, make a meal at home today? Like, did you get yourself something really nice recent? Like, it's just like, find the little victories in your life. Focus on how far you come from how far you have to go, or your lack thereof. Because you have the choice. You have the choice to navigate your life and the way that you view your life. Like, it's within you. Life is coming from within you, not towards you. And I think that's also how I really want to ground this situation. It's like, you could sit here all day and point the finger and blame how you feel about yourself and your problems on everybody around you. But until the minute that you own how you feel, like, own it. Let yourself feel it, like, let it go through you, Like, that's it. And it's painful. We live in a very vice-filled world, in a very suppressive world, you know? And I think it's important to, like, really advocate and say, like, hey, if you let yourself feel it, I wonder how you'd feel about yourself afterwards. You'd probably be pretty proud of yourself and badass because you did what most people can't do. It's like, let themselves feel it. Sit with it. And I know this was kind of like a stuck up video a little bit. I don't want to judge myself and say, oh my God, I'm like this posh princess. Everybody's jealous of me. Because it's like, screw that. Like, and like I said too, it's like, I know I'm a good, solid human being. Truly, I am. And nobody can take that away from me. And if you're still going to be jealous of a genuine person, like, what does that say about you? That's all I gotta say. So, she's a little shady today, but I had to get it out. I'm like, finally found a therapist, so maybe my videos will be a little more constructive. Maybe they will be more tangent-y. Who knows? But I hope you enjoy. I hope you boss up. I hope you boss up and stop feeling like an insecure little and own your feelings. Man, I really want to curse, but I don't think I can on YouTube. And you got this. And like, you're enough. You're enough right now, this very moment. You can choose right now, in this very moment, to feel badass. So I hope you make that choice. I hope you find some sort of groundingness in this video and own it. And own your shit. Because no one else is except you. So much love. Until next time.